Good morning. Happy Sunday. Let's get to my low. I slept in. I got a late start to my day. It's okay though. For the most part, I'm all caught up. I just kind of wish I didn't sleep in. But, I guess I am fighting something, so, I need it. But my high is, I got to celebrate my cousin's birthday yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Got to see my nephews yesterday. Went to dinner. It was awesome. But the thing I am going to talk about, saw my boy over at the illegal tap house. That was awesome too. But the one thing you really want to get into, and the topic of today, outside of the NFL picks, that's why I got the jersey on, is I watched Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. It was awesome. I will get to that momentarily. And my act of kindness was, what would say my act of kindness would be? I helped my mom and dad watch my nephews during dinner. That was fun to do. So, did I already do Happy Sunday? We're 1 minute in. I already forgot if we did Happy Sunday. My apologies. So, let's get to my NFL picks first, because I want to spend as much time as I want to talk about Scott Pilgrim. Let's see. I'm already 1-0 for the week because I picked the Ravens to win, and sad that Joe Burrow's out. So, let's see. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. Let me get my computer mouse ready to go. You know what? I think the Steelers are going to take this one. I do. Let's see. Raiders and the Dolphins. Dolphins. Of course the Dolphins will win. Lions and Bears. Ooh. It's a division game, but I'm picking the Lions. Titans and Jaguars. Jaguars, even though that's a division game too. Chargers and Packers. You know what? I think I'll go to the Chargers. I think the Chargers can pull one out here. Let's see. Cardinals and Texans. Texans. Even with Kyler Murray back, I think CJ Stroud's going to have a big day. My Dallas Cowboys versus the Carolina Panthers. You know what's funny? A dear friend of mine actually has a birthday today and he's a Panthers fan. Sorry, bro. I hate to do this to you, but I'm picking my Cowboys over the Panthers. I'm sorry, bro. If it was any other team, I wouldn't have any problem with that, but I'm sorry, I'd be the Panthers. Very sorry. Giants and Commanders. You know what? I think the Commanders are going to take this one. I really do. See, 49ers and Buccaneers. 49ers. Easy. Jets and Bills. Ooh. Well, after I completely tore them apart the other day, I feel almost bad making a pick like this. But a pick has to be made. Okay, Buffalo. I'm giving you one more chance. Okay? This is Buffalo's last chance. If they lose, I'm telling you right now, their season is over. So, against my better judgment, the Bills are at home. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's do this. Let's see. Seahawks and the Rams. Seahawks. I think the Seahawks. Vikings and Broncos. Broncos are coming back a little bit, but I think the Vikings are going to derail them here. Actually, you know what? No. I'll pick the Broncos, actually. I'll pick the Broncos over the Vikings. Wow, was that really it? Those are my NFL picks for today? Shoot. I went through that fast. Well, I do want to talk about Scott Pilgrim, so I guess it makes sense that I do go by these fast. So my picks for today, rapid fire: the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Texans, the Cowboys, the Commanders, the 49ers. Let's go Buffalo, the Seahawks, and the Broncos. Those are my NFL picks for today. Now I need to talk about Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Okay, so if you don't know what Scott Pilgrim is, it was a comic that was written. Actually, let me give that notes out. It was written by Brian Lee O'Malley and David Grabinski. They're actually, hold on. Brian Lee O'Malley, yeah, Brian Lee O'Malley, and basically the story of Scott Pilgrim, more or less, it takes place over 6 books, and the premise is Scott Pilgrim meets this girl named Ramona Flowers, and he wants to date her, but to date her, he has to date the 7 evil exes. You're probably wondering how I know this plot already, because this show was developed from the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World that came out in the early 2010s. It was directed by Edgar Wright and had a dynamite cast of. Let me just break out like the main stars, okay? You had Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Satya Bhatt, Kieran Culkin, Chris Evans, Anna Kendrick, Brie Larson, Alison Pill, Aubrey Plaza, Brandon Routh, Jason Schwartzman, Johnny Simmons, Mark Webber, Mae Whitman, Ellen Wong, Julian Shi, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Shannon Woodard, and the list went on and on. Like, this is a big cast. Some of them were either knowns, and some actors, when that movie came out, everybody in the movie was known to some degree. They were either doing voiceover work, a la Mae Whitman. Big stars like Michael Cera, Chris Evans was just about to become Captain America. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I remember seeing her in Sky High. Anna Kendrick, this is pre-Pitch Perfect. Brie Larson, what wasn't she in? Aubrey, again, this was a dynamite cast, and Edgar Wright brought them together. So, what do you do when you make a show like this? Get everybody back to do it. Now, before I continue on, I want to point out that, yes, Scott Pilgrim is fighting the evil exes and eventually wins the heart of Ramona Flowers. Here's the thing, though. While that was, the main premise of the story, the overall theme of the story is growth. Because when Scott Pilgrim starts out, he starts off as, a decent guy, but, a bit of a slacker. No direction in life. Doesn't know what he's going to do with his life. He doesn't know what he's going to do in life. He's living with his quote-unquote awesome gay roommate named Wallace Wells, played by Kieran Culkin. And, he's in a band. He's dating this, dating is a strong word, but this one girl, 17-year-old girl named Knives likes him, and keep in mind, he's 23. Yeah, I have my own gripes about the age differences when it comes to dating, but that's neither here nor there. So, again, the overall theme of the story is growth and becoming a better person overall. So you're probably thinking, okay, the movie obviously couldn't do 6 books in one film, so you think this animated series is going to be faithful to the books and do everything, from beginning to end. That doesn't happen. Spoiler, by the way. This story goes in a completely different direction. Well, by completely different direction, I mean the beginning of the first episode, it's pretty much following the main premise of the first book pretty faithfully. He and his band are going to perform the Rock, and he just met Ramona Flowers. One of the evil actors shows up, Matthew Patel, played by Satya Bhatt. And they fight, and in the movie, and obviously the movie goes in a different direction. Here, though, it takes a hard turn because Scott Pilgrim disappears during this fight. Basically, the direction they wanted to go in with this show is they wanted to get a load of things from Ramona Flowers' perspective. What made the evil exes evil, or exes, for instance, and he goes into their backstories, and it's a direction I never thought they'd ever take. I'm not going to get into. The premise is Scott Pilgrim doesn't die; he's actually alive. Ramona Flowers is trying to, find wherever he is. It comes to a head at the very end of the 6th episode, where it turns out Scott Pilgrim was in fact alive, and someone did capture him via a vegan portal, because one of the evil exes is a vegan, I believe Brent Routh's character. Todd Ingram, played by Brendan Routh, he was the vegan. And Scott Pilgrim disappears. Where does he disappear to? The future. See, the direction that they want to go with this is, the future is after Scott Pilgrim defeats evil exes and does win Ramona Flowers, but Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Scott thinks the worst and thinks it's over, and so he goes into deep depression or whatever. He basically is trying to tell Scott Pilgrim, don't pursue Ramona Flowers. And Scott Pilgrim goes back, and obviously doesn't listen. Ramona Flowers finds a way, the future Ramona Flowers finds a way to send him back. And then you think everything's all set, but no. Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers can't kiss. They cannot kiss after he comes back from the future. So Scott thinks, okay, I really have to find the evil exes to make sure this works. But throughout this series, all the evil exes' problems have been resolved. They've all made peace with themselves and they moved on. Gideon Grey stops becoming evil. Matthew Patel takes over Gideon Grey's company, although they later become friends. Roxy is at peace with Roxy, played by Mae Whitman, is at peace with her stuff, and so on and so forth. So, if none of the evil exes are keeping Scott and Ramona from kissing, who is? An even older version of Scott Pilgrim is. And I love the video game references because they clearly try and make him look like Ryu from Street Fighter. Well, kinda. Maybe, no. That one guy from Tekken, I can't think of who he is. Someone's going to find out in the comments. Someone's going to tell me in the comments. So basically, the story is, Scott needs to live his own life. I mean, even if you're successful at whatever you do, you're going to hit a rough patch every now and again. The only thing you can really do when that happens is don't let it define you. Just be you. Basically, if the premise of the old book and the movie was, for growing up and becoming a better person, the second would be, this series would be the idea of not everything in your life is going to go what you want it to be. And when that happens, and listen, I have been through heartbreak, okay? I know what that's like. It's hard to go through something as bad as that, and it's hard to let go. It still hurts a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But you got to take things one day at a time. It didn't work out, but no matter what, the world keeps on turning. Life still goes on. And for the bittersweet roller coaster that it is, you gotta take your wins when you can, Just enjoy yourself. And whatever happens, happens. I mean, of course, we try and work hard to make sure bad things don't happen. And more often than not, there's something to be said about being successful at that. But if bad stuff in life didn't happen, I don't think life would be as meaningful as it is. I mean, listen, there are plenty of instances where you have people that have been handed everything, they don't know adversity, and no bad stuff ever happens to them. So when they finally come across adversity, they don't know what to do. They're at a loss. And maybe sometimes they have friends to help them out, but more often than not, maybe they're alone. So, in a way, I guess, letting go is another form of growth and development. But you have to also, you just have to know when to do it, though. You know, it comes on its own, and you just take one thing at a time. And here's the thing. I don't know what direction they can go in from now with this show. I mean, a part of me thinks like this is just a one-time thing and we're not going to see anything like a show like this ever again. I mean, full disclosure, I love watching this. I loved watching this show. You know, it's 8 episodes, about a half hour long, binge it in a few hours. You know, hunky-dory, we're good to go. And the animation was beautiful. You know, the fight choreography is amazing. Like, and the cast. I mean, that Dynamite cast I just mentioned. Also, shout out to both Finn Wolfhard as a teen Scott Pilgrim and Will Forte as old Scott Pilgrim, and therefore even older Scott Pilgrim. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was Ramona Flowers all throughout our time, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Like, Will Forte did a great job of portraying, like, a sort of beaten down, sort of, oh, woe is me kind of figure, but then sort of changed himself around. Like, this is a great show. It is. I really hope that, you know, there's a season 2. But then again, I said the same thing about Agent Elvis earlier this year. Honestly, these are shows that are made to exist for the form of short-term entertainment, if nothing else. And I like short-term entertainment. It's fun. So if this is all we get of Scott Pilgrim, if we never actually get like a real, true blue... I mean, if you're a Scott Pilgrim fan, obviously you should watch this show. If you think it's going to be faithful to the books, no, it's not. Personally, I've never read the books, but I did see Dominic Noble talk about the differences between the books and the movie. I wonder what he would think about that. What he would think of this show. Food for thought. Speaking of food, I'm getting hungry. I'm going to go get myself some breakfast before watching some football. Hope about this video. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very homely in this video. For all of you guys watching, Joe for today, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Remember, you guys want to talk to me, Linda back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.